Bonjour. Quittez-vous le café? Ah, gotta have my coffee. Good morning, Louisiana and everybody else. Don't remember what the last thing I showed you. It's been a couple days since I even did any work on my fiddle. Of course, you probably remember I got the let's see, got the Purfling in. I just got to shave it down, and I'm gonna start cutting my little fluting, it's like a little edge, kind of decorative. Thinking about the word of the day. I always heard when I was a kid that word or expression. Pauvre bête. I heard that all the time. Pauvre bête, tifé. Pauvre bête. Look at that. It's still dark outside. I don't know, I think it's about 7 o'clock. Probably, we're coming pretty close to a time change. So anyway, I'm sitting here carving and I'm thinking about things, as always. One thing about carving, if you're new to this type of carving with these gouges, and you know, I've got two different gouges, but with the same radius. Man, when you're coming right here in these little tight bends, be very careful. Take your time. For me, this is a lesson in patience. I'm a patient person, but sometimes I want things done like right away too. Who doesn't, right? Okay, so take your time. Trust me, it'll be worth it. So I'm going to do a little bit of carving. Something I thought about. Kind of a subject I want to approach, and it's not a controversial subject by no means. Actually, I've done a few videos before this one that I'm not going to air because my wife reminded me that I need to be careful about what I say. Sometimes I tend to get on my little high horse, you know. Who doesn't, right? But you know, you do have to be careful in this world. We live in a very, very crazy world. You got to be careful, man, with all the scammers and hackers, and just, you know, we live in different times. So you got to be very, I mean, scammers have been around for ages, right? But today it's even more so important to be very careful about what you say and do, and be careful about your online presence. I mean, you know, you hear stories of all the time people losing their or identity theft, you know, and their Facebook accounts getting hacked and YouTube accounts getting hacked. So if something, you know, if you see something about a person that you know that you are at, you know them really good, and something just doesn't seem right, be careful. Probably they got hacked, and you know, the hacker is trying to reel you in because they want to steal your information. But anyway, that's my little spiel about hackers. But something else I was thinking about. Who doesn't get the robocalls today? Right? So sick of these robocalls and these phone scammers. I get so many stinking phone calls. Well, first of all, I do, you know, when I get a number that I don't recognize, first of all, I don't generally answer it, because if your name is not in my contact list and your name doesn't show up on my phone when the phone rings, I won't answer. But sometimes, you know, I get a little bit annoyed that I get all these calls. So I'll answer the phone. And I start messing with these people. Sometimes I'll lead them on. I know it sounds mean, but I'm so tired of it. So, you know, I'll answer the phone, and I give them a little shot to do their spiel, and sometimes I'll say, well, you know, before we go on, I'll listen to what you have to say if you listen to what I have to say. And I'll start off on a whole nother kind of subject. And so you're going to listen to me, or else, you know, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Well, obviously, click. That's the next thing I hear, and that's kind of the purpose I'm trying to accomplish is, trying to get rid of these phone scammers. And guess what? My phone doesn't ring as much anymore. I don't know if I don't know if word gets around. Hey, don't call this guy. He's just gonna mess with you. Man, I get scammers from. I'm not gonna mention any names, but like my account has been hacked, and you got to do this and this and this and this to rectify it. And guess what? It's a scam themselves, because some of these reputable companies, whenever there is a scam in process, they will alert you, but in more conventional means, you can tell. I mean, if you're smart enough, you can tell when you're getting scammed. So yeah, that's my little spiel about scamming. I'm kind of having a little slow start today. But I still got the high energy level. Just, it's Monday morning. I was never a Monday morning person. I'm becoming one though. And my coffee is finally starting to kick in, and starting to get a little bit more talkative. And my wife is, of course, she's loving it, because she's always been a morning person, and usually in the morning I'm the one that starts the conversation or whatever. And so yeah, she's loving the personality change. Have I gotten on my soapbox about sugar yet? I think I have. In case I haven't, get off of sugar. It'll change your life. I'm serious. I am dead serious. It will change your life. So much more happier now. I told my wife that yesterday. I told her, I said, you just don't realize how happy I am now. Our life is good. We are both in a better place in our marriage and just in life in general, So do yourself a favor, man. Get off of sugar. Get off of sugar. All right, I'm gonna stop for now. I just want to kind of point something out about the scammers. All right, see you later. All right, we almost got the first cut of the fluting done, and I'm sitting here thinking about all my little stories. And there's a story that I don't have on my list that I thought about, or I guess I'm going to turn it into a story. Just recently, I've met some friends, and just so you know, from almost day one that I could drive, I love cars. I love fast cars. I love hot rods. I love muscle cars. I love cars, man. The cars of the 60s and the 70s and the 50s, man. If you find an old car, turn it into a hot rod. You do it just right, man. That puppy is gonna be nice. Well, I met some friends just recently that's got some really nice cars, and I am proud to say that I have them as friends, because they invited me to, next time they go ride, if I want to go ride, just let them know, I mean, I won't, I'm not gonna take advantage of the situation, because what I'm gonna do is, when the time is right, when I have more time, when things kind of get settled down, I'm gonna buy me another car, and another car that I can turn into a hot rod. And I say another car because I used to have, man, I had a 68 Malibu at one time, my first car actually, and I wish I had that car back. That would be a nice hot rod. It was just a plain old Malibu, but if you do it right, it can be a nice car. Let me tell you about my '57 Chevy that I had at one time. It was a '57 pickup, old '57, and we bought that. It was for one of our anniversaries. It was my anniversary gift. Paid like $1,500 for it, but you know, it was running, and it was in fairly decent shape. I wish I still had that truck, and I'll tell you why I don't have it today. Kicking myself for getting rid of it. But before I get into that, let me pause for just a second. I could make me a platform that I could shift around, but I don't know. I feel like this gives me a little bit more freedom for turning my, you know, it gives me more room right here to kind of get into the carving. I realize I need something right here really quick. Yes. So I told my wife I wanted a project car. It's something to piddle around with, work on. So I bought this 57 Chevy pickup. It's in really good shape. I'm going to superimpose a picture of it on this video right here so you'll see what I had. And so, you know, my wife thought that, you know, I was going to just kind of maybe give it some kind of a paint job, maybe kind of, you know, I mean, it was a little rough looking, but it wasn't horribly bad. And so yeah, that was the intention, you know, of to kind of fix it up a little bit. Well, she had no idea what I was about to do. I didn't even tell her. I just did it. So she come home one day, and so I was working in the backyard. She come home one day, and she's looking around, and she's like, "Where's your pickup? What'd you do with it?" I said, "Well, it's in that bucket there, and it's in that bucket there, and it's in that bucket there." You know, and I had the cab off the frame, I had the bed off the frame, I had the frame stripped down, took it off the axles. I mean, everything, every nut and bolt that you could take off of that pickup truck, every nut and bolt, I disassembled it piece by piece, and my intention was to restore it from the bottom up. You know, I rebuilt the leaf springs. I think I even tore the rear end down. Wow, that was some kind of nut falling off the tree. If you probably heard that, probably freaked you out. But yeah, so I just kind of, like the rear end, I think I took it down just to make sure everything was okay. Put the new lube. You know, I just kind of did it right. But yeah, I mean, that's I took everything apart on that thing, and I sandblasted the frame, painted it, you know, and just started building it from the ground up. And my intentions was to, you know, make a nice little hot rod out of it. Bought a 327 Chevy block engine. I was going to have the engine rebuilt, but you know, I mean, that kind of stuff takes money and time. So eventually, you know, I had it, and I put it back together. I did put it back together, man. That thing run like a top. I'd sent the engine off, got it not rebored, but just kind of honed the cylinder walls. I think I had new pistons put in, and just, you know, just kind of like a little once over. I mean, the engine was running fine, but you know, I wanted to make sure it was in good shape. So yeah. You know, when I do stuff, I like to do it right. But, you know, eventually over time, I didn't have a garage. I kind of had like a little makeshift garage. Didn't really have and that was my first mistake, is not having a place to protect it from. So every time I'd work on the body, I'd get some rust done. But because it sat out in the weather, the rust would come back, and I just didn't have everything to do it just right. I mean, it was an everyday driver. I drove it. I drove it to work. I drove it all over town, you know, and I get head turns. You know, people see it, and you know, and so, you know, it's that's the fun thing about driving a hot rod or an old classic. You know, you get the head turns. You know, it makes you kind of feel proud, man. Wow, I got me a nice vehicle. So, but anyway, you know, so I over time. And this is a whole nother story, a whole nother can of worms that I'm not going to get into. You know, I was going through some depression, and we'll talk about depression at a later date. You know, so I just kind of, because of the depression, I just kind of lost interest in it. And so I sold it. I made twice as much off of it as what I bought it for. So I made a little bit of money off of it. But boy, man, let me tell you what, am I kicking myself that I got rid of that truck. Oh, I wish I still had that truck. Because I would do it right. I would do it right I don't care how long it would take. I would fix that little puppy up. And I'd probably, you know, I had the original 6 in it, and I kind of, there was something, what's the word, glorious about keeping the original engine, keeping it all original, but at the same time, you know, I want some power, I want some horsepower. So eventually I probably would have broke down and put a good power plant in it. So yeah, that's my little story about my pickup truck that I'm kicking myself that I wish I had, because I could have some fun in that thing. I'm just about to finish my first pass, and I'm noticing I didn't think I was going too deep. So I'm thinking that there's a defect in this Purfling that I have. I'm not going to show you right now, but you know, again, it's my fiddle. I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to give it some character. And my next fiddle, I'm going to be a little bit more careful about things. I'm learning a big lesson from this fiddle about how to build the next one even better than this. So this is a learning experience for me. And the next one's going to be even better, because I am a perfectionist. I like getting things just right. I don't like doing things halfway. All right, I'll get back. I got to make my second pass with my gouge, a little bit bigger gouge than this, and I'll show you when I'm all done.